Grace, mercy, peace, and joy, the joy of the resurrection of our Savior from the dead, be to you from God our Father and our risen and living Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The words for our meditation this morning are words from St. Peter's first epistle, the first chapter, verses 18 and 19, and those verses are printed in your book. Listen to these words from St. Peter. For you know that it was not with perishable things, such as silver or gold, that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your forefathers, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. This is God's word. Fellow believers in our risen Savior, we had it as a theme. In fact, it's the same theme we used on Easter, living that empty life. Living the empty life which comes from the empty tomb. If I believe that Jesus is alive, my life is different. I live a different way. I think a different way. I have a different perspective of everything that I do in life. This morning, there's a little bit of a change here. We heard Peter say, don't live the empty life. So one of the things we want to emphasize this morning is, Lord, let me live an empty life, but not a hand-me-down empty life. One that's handed down from our forefathers. We'll speak about that in a moment, what Peter is speaking about. But we want to have a different life that is empty based on Jesus rising from the dead, but not something else that is empty that gives my life essentially a purpose that really has nothing to gain from it. But rather, we want to live that empty life. We want to live the resurrection life because we have been redeemed. Redeemed by Him whose blood is on our hands. And you know, as believers, we know it's on our hands because of the sin that we've committed. But it's also on our hands because we live in the light of the forgiveness of sinners. Living that empty life. If I was to say, I want you to find out what the distance is without being able to look anything up. The distance between here and Hartford. And I said, I'm going to give you a ruler, because a ruler, after all, measures things and it measures distances. If I gave that to you, you would probably say, this is pretty worthless, it's pretty empty. We can do it, but it's not going to accomplish anything. I think we'd rather get in our car and at least use an odometer, and we can figure out how far it is. We need to actually get a mileage rather than using something like this. The word that Peter used today in our text about don't live an empty life that was handed down from our forefathers. It's an emptiness, not in the sense of living a sinful life, not in the sense of living a life apart from Jesus. That's not what the Greek means there. It means doing something that really doesn't have the result that we think it will have. It means doing something, we use the word in vain. I wouldn't use that English word too frequently anymore. It would be something that it doesn't deal with the reality at hand. It's something that's deceptive. I think this way, I do something, but it doesn't accomplish what it's intended to do, which is like this. Boy, I can measure with this, but it wouldn't accomplish what I wanted you to do as far as measuring a long distance. And I think that's what we are, again, encouraged to do as Easter Christians, is being able to say, Lord, I want to live a different kind of life, not one, as Peter was saying and mentioning, about the empty life from our text. For you know that it was not with perishable things, such as silver or gold, that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your forefathers. A way that how you live, it doesn't get you anywhere. And Peter's talking about, he's talking to Gentiles and Jews. Jews, you think that you have everything because you're Jewish. Remember, Peter's Jewish. He's a Jewish believer. You think that because you're Jewish, that's going to be all right with God? Or you think because you do something in your life that somehow by following what God wants you to do, at least outwardly, that's somehow going to make you right with God? Or if you follow certain rituals, you do certain things, that's going to make you... That's an empty kind of thing. An empty is not going to accomplish anything. And you Gentiles, our background, we Gentiles, Think of where you were before this. You didn't even have the right God. You have lots of gods. And your lifestyle, boy, that was in war from what God would want. You had an empty life. And so you needed to be, there's that big word in our text, right? Redeemed. Each one of us needs to be redeemed. And we know that, right, that word to mean to be purchased back, to be bought back, to be taken away from our slavery to sin, our empty way of life, living the empty doom by not living the hand-me-down empty life that came from our forefathers. Every one of you had parents that left you in a really rotten situation. Every one of them. What is that? We do know that what? We have a sinful nature that comes from our parents. Really look back to Adam and Eve, right? So for every one of us, whether we grew up in a Christian household or not, whatever our backgrounds are, we know the fact that we are born, that God tells us that we have a sinful nature that is inherited from our parents. And so that's one empty way of life to get away from. And then for each of us in our own lives, each of us knows the things that we can go back and say, what are the things in my life that, Lord, that even if I look at my parents or my siblings, my friends, Lord, there are things in my life, and thinking, what do my children see in me? There are things that, Lord, if there's anything that I have, remember, I don't want to practice or believe anything that is coming from a background. I may love somebody, but it's a background that I'm not going to follow. I needed to be redeemed, and it's not by any earthly thing that I can even think of. Nothing. That empty way of life. I want to live a different life. I can love people without wanting to follow what they practice that takes me away from God. The hand-me-down empty life. Yesterday, we had a presentation in the Lutheran Women's Missionary Society meeting in Massachusetts from one of the our missionary to Nepal, so near India, near China. And you would not believe, I think in Sunday school this morning, or at least with the adults, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. And the country is basically Hindu. And you talk about the empty way of life that has been handed down. Boy, they have lots of things that are difficult. Lots of things that are difficult. And one of the things, just the copy that's there, and some of that was shared with us when we had our gathering about Nepal not too long ago, is horrible. But what was really changed recently, the people were able to gather together. And they were able to gather together in places, even though officially it's mostly Hindu, there's some Muslim, and it's not really looked upon with real great favor with Christianity, but you could worship. They were getting together. They were studying worship places. They would get the teachers that were being trained and studying for the ministry there. They could get together. And then this past August, in different places in the country, this past August, everything changed. One of the main people that we have there, and I'm not going to mention names or things, something I don't even know what being taken. The missionary said things that really nothing should be specifics given online or whatever. What happened was, knock on the home, knock on the door. And he was, one of the leaders was arrested. And he had families, children that he had adopted, he was wife. And all kinds of false charges were made. And our missionary deals with them, he knows the family. In fact, he had taken some of these children away from situations where they were, he said some of the kids that came to him were like sticks when they came to live with him. They were well nourished. But he was charged with changing and trying to convert children from Hinduism to Christianity. He was also charged with all kinds of things about child abuse and everything else, and took the children, and he was arrested, and it started to, all kinds of things or ramifications, and there's more if you hear the story. We'll talk a little bit more maybe about that. But it was horrible. Everything was changing. And even now, as just mentioned this morning to Sri John, he was saying that the law had changed too, that openly now there may be some other changes coming with an election or whatever's coming up, but Christianity, you try to convert, you try to do something, boy, you're in big trouble. And all of a sudden now, everything that was being done on top of the earthquake that came and buildings, some of the ones that we had used that had been destroyed. Now everything has to be done in a different kind of way than before, because it can't be done openly. And this person who we are dealing with, he could still be rearrested at any time. And even one of the children that was taken away was put into a situation where, if you hear him talk about how prevalent the sex trade is even there, and human slavery, the child could be back in a situation where they're worried about what is happening with her. And you talk about the hand-me-down, the things that were the anti-life handed down, talk about the false gods, Hinduism. You know how many gods there are in Hinduism? It's over 300 million. I know when we were sitting and talking to people, I couldn't even begin to remember how many there are. Do you love those people? Yes. If your parents are Hindu, do you love them? Of course you do. But wow, what kind of empty life have we been handed down to? And to say, Lord, we have this empty life, but now we have that forgiveness. I don't want to live that way. Just even thinking of the road to Emmaus disciples. When you're thinking about, here they are after Easter, they still didn't click it either. We've had over the last number of weeks, the disciples not understanding. They're walking along, they don't understand. Boy, their face downcast. What happened? Well, the women told us that Jesus had seen a vision of angels. The body, nobody seems to find the body. We're downcast. We thought things were going to change. Isn't that us? We live as if there's no Easter. Or do we live that life that is something that is, boy, I want to be different. I want to read something from, this is from, I think some of the historians debate what century it's from. I think many of them talk about, this is a letter written from an anonymous person to another Roman, talking about, what are these Christians? Who are these Christians? Who are we? And this is probably written 1st or 2nd century. So it's not that, it's early Christian church, early Christians, talking about living a different life that was handed down from their forefathers. Here's what it was written. For Christians are not differentiated from other people by country, language, or customs. You see, they do not live in cities of their own, or speak some strange dialect, or have some peculiar lifestyle. That's it. We can blend in easily with others if we want to. We have that freedom in Christ. This teaching of theirs, and he's talking from the Christian perspective to others, has not been contrived by the invention and speculation of inquisitive men, nor are they propagating mere human teaching as some people do. They live in both Greek and foreign cities. They follow local customs in clothing, food, and other aspects of life. But at the same time, they demonstrate to us, and this was Steve talking to himself too, as someone who come to faith, they come to us the wonderful, certainly unusual form of their own citizenship. They belong to heaven. They're not living the way that was passed down from the hand-me-down empty life. But he goes on. They live in their own native lands, but as aliens. We know that, right? Peter writes about that. Well, we live as strangers and aliens in this life because heaven is our home, but we still are engaged in the world and enjoying what God gives us, but we're still saying, Lord, I'm different. But as aliens, as citizens, they share all things with others. But like aliens, suffer all things. We're willing to share things with other people. We're willing to open up our hearts and lives to them, and yet I know that we are willing as Christians to suffer all things. Something that may be done to me for the sake of Christ. Every foreign country is to them as their native country, and every native land is their foreign country. Heaven is our home. They marry and have children just like everyone else, but they do not kill unwanted babies. Interesting. 1st or 2nd century. They offer a shared table, but not a shared bed. It's no different for us as believers. People know us by how we live and what we do. When you think of those people in Nepal, and I asked a missionary man, what do they have to gain by becoming a Christian? Nothing from an outward standpoint. There's nothing. They don't get better housing. They don't get better treatment. In fact, they're shunned in many cases. And now it's even worse. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They've got to go into secret until maybe things change. Nothing expected that. That's living the empty life. And I'm willing to live without anything, suffer everything, because I know, Lord, the empty life that I have without you. They are present in the flesh, but they do not live according to the flesh. We don't follow just passions. They are passing their days on earth, but are citizens of heaven. They obey the appointed laws. Everything we talk about, nothing has changed. And Paul wrote about in Romans to obey the governing authority. And go beyond the law in their own lives. We just don't follow the letter of the law. We just don't look at our relationship as a husband. I do this because I'm a husband. You do this because you're the wife. I do this because I'm a teenager. I do this. It's none of that. I don't just serve my obligation. It's a different way of looking at every aspect of my life. How can you say they have active life if we're doing all these things? Listen to this, what else? They love everyone, but are persecuted by all. They are unknown and condemned. They are put to death to gain life. None of us will know those people in Nepal that are dying and suffering now because of the sake of Christ. Maybe we would in some way, but most of us won't know them. We don't know them by name, and yet they're doing it. Are we ready? They are dishonored and yet gain glory through dishonor. Their names are blackened and yet they are clear because they haven't done anything to deserve what they're getting. They are mocked and blessed in return. They are treated outrageously and behave respectfully to others. Is that how people see us and how we deal with each other? When they do good, they are punished as evildoers, which is what's happening in Nepal. A family trying to help children, and all of a sudden the children are ripped away from them and trying to get them back for doing only what is good for them, and yet because they're connected with Christ, something can change. They are attacked as aliens, and they are persecuted by both Jews and Greeks, yet those who hate them cannot give any reason for their hostility. To put it simply, the soul is to the body